Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Doing a little Steelers-Texans film room. Going to be going over this offensive drive in the third quarter. Steelers are down 10. Had a little momentum. Had a chance to get really back in this game. The Steelers really just never able to kind of get any consistency throughout this one in this matchup. But they had a chance in the third quarter to make this a really hotly contested game. Started off well, and then the drive ended with a couple ugly plays, including that really controversial 4th and 1. So I'm going to break all these plays down individually, go into detail about what I like, don't like, all this different stuff. Just before we get into it, please make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop me a comment. All that stuff's greatly appreciated. Let's get after it. All right, so the first play of this drive right here, the Steelers are going to be in gun and 11 personnel. They're going to run a trap play out of shotgun here. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to let these defensive tackles get upfield, try to take advantage of their aggressiveness. Kind of go through this one really quickly. You see Mason Cole with the down block with Isaac Seumalo coming over on the pull. So just to go over this one, how it kind of plays out here, you'll see off the snap that Mason Cole is going to down block. We get Seumalo coming over. They're going to basically leave this 3 technique unblocked. Chooks is just going to swim him forward. You get the right guard and right tackle climbing to the second level, pushing towards the linebackers. And Najee Harris does a really good job right here, getting skinny through the hole. Harris was excellent yesterday, especially in the second half. I thought he had a couple really impressive runs. Getting skinny through the hole, getting to the third level almost untouched, make a safety miss. Make another guy miss, a little arm tackle there. Like to see Calvin Austin's effort in the blocking department. I think I highlighted that a little bit in a previous video as well. But he gives a lot of effort despite, being really small. But Harris, this I think was his second explosive run of the game. And then his 6th explosive run of the season, according to Pro Football Focus. And, he's near the top of the running back leaderboard so far this year. So we wanted to see a little more explosiveness from Najee this season. I think he's providing that a little bit. But overall, I thought that, Najee was definitely the best player on offense by far yesterday. I thought him and Seumalo were kind of 2 of the bright spots for that unit on the afternoon. So following the big run from Harris, we're going to get another trap play here. This concept is called crunch. The first team to use this, I think, was the Niners, but the Jags and Lions did it a bunch last year. I have a video on the channel specifically about how this is ran, so that goes into a little more detail. But just on this play, basically another same kind of concept. Crunch is just trap and wham combination. They're going to let this 3 technique kind of get upfield, unblocked, and then use the tight end to come over and wham block him. Unfortunately here, Washington isn't really able to push him one direction or another. The back's footwork and his aiming point is basically off of the block of number 80, so they're going to ask him to come down, wham block on the 3 technique, and ideally you want to see Washington get to that outside shoulder, because if he's able to do that and he just pushes him upfield, this gives the back a really defined read to go in between the tight end and the left tackle. You can see that they actually have this thing blocked up fairly well. Mason Cole's climbing to the play side linebacker. We have the kick out on the edge defender. There is a hole there, but Harris ends up stumbling, I think, a little bit on Washington's foot right here, which causes a little bit of friction. He's not able to hit the hole cleanly. They had a little bit of something here. I think if Washington could have just stayed on that outside shoulder a little bit better. That's a good play by the 3 technique, too. I think over the course of the game, the Texans defensive linemen finally started to realize that the Steelers were allowing them to get upfield on purpose. So a good play by the Texans defense. Nothing really in particular to go over there. Like the play call, just one of those things that didn't quite work out. All right, so after the 1-yard gain on first down, we get a 2nd and 9. The Steelers are going to be in pistol, 11 personnel. Get a play action fake here from Pickett. We're going to run a little naked bootleg and hit the flat route to Washington underneath. I like this one, because the Steelers haven't thrown the ball to Washington yet this season, and I think it's good just to not get predictable. A little tendency breaker here, just to have the defense respect him as a receiver instead of every time you bringing him in, he's just kind of either a decoy in the route concept or just as a blocker. And really like this one here. Get Pickett on the move. He's been accurate when rolling to his left this season as well, which is nice. Get the play action. You can kind of see what this does to the second-level defenders while we beg and plead for more play action. You can look at the safety right here, number 5. He's going to bite really hard downhill right here. I think the Texans are actually in cover 3, and I believe he's supposed to be the curl flat defender. But they're going to sneak Washington out into the flat. Pickens is kind of on the over route, and then you've kind of got a post or clear out from Austin at the bottom of the screen. Normally how this is read is just top down. You'll alert this if you really just think it's going to bust wide open, but normally that's not in the progression. And then you'll kind of read this from top down from Pickens on the over route, and then you'll look at either the slide or the delay to the flat. And then you also kind of got this backside delay. Usually this guy's, which in this case is also blocking and releasing late into the route concept. So really easy play to get Pickett in space, easy completion, a nice first down. Offense is rolling. Got a little bit of momentum for like the first time in the game. So following the completion of Washington, the Steelers are going to be in 11 personnel. They're going to motion Allen Robinson in, and they're going to run duo to the strong side of the formation. Unfortunately, Jaylen Warren fumbles. We get a huge negative play. Thankfully, Pickett falls on the fumble. But let's just look at this thing from an execution standpoint. First off, duo has been the worst concept they've ran all year. They've struggled with this through 4 games. It's almost like it's been so bad that they almost need to scrap it from the playbook. Entering this week, they were averaging 1.6 yards per carry on this concept. It just hasn't worked. And some of the things that they're trying to do here, they're going to double team this defensive tackle with the right guard in the center, and then they're going to get a double team here on this defensive tackle with the left guard and the left tackle. Duo is difficult because you have to have a tight end that is willing and able to block these defenders right here one-on-one, and then they're going to try to motion in Allen Robinson to the core and lead him through the C gap and try to pick up Jalen Petrie right here. One of the things that happens on this play, though, is Jalen Petrie makes this really subtle play towards the end of this snap count. He jumps outside at the snap, and what that does is it causes confusion between Washington and Robinson on who's supposed to grab who. You can see that Robinson's looking ahead and sees that Petrie's shooting outside because these duo runs for the Steelers have been hitting outside, or they've been trying to hit them outside. Every time they kind of shift into these YY with 2 tight ends or this tight end and wide receiver kind of right next to each other to the core, this is just good film study from Petrie. He knows exactly what play's coming, good snap anticipation. He jumps in and just levels the ball carrier. I mean, it's helmet on the ball. You know, Warren really needs to do a better job taking care of the football. But, again, that's just good film study by the defense, and that's just a tendency that teams have really picked up on over the course of the first month of the season. So this is kind of where things just kind of start to head south a little bit for the Steelers offense, and in particular Kenny Pickett. I'll kind of go over this one just kind of in depth. I wanted to kind of roll the play first. The Steelers are really just trying to run some type of mesh concept, and then the Texans are going to be dropping into what's called cover 6 or quarter, half, whatever you call it. But really throughout the game, the Texans were really cognizant, kind of like Vegas was last week, of trying to take away George Pickens, get multiple sets of eyes on him. They're going to be running a cloud coverage up to the top of the screen. Not anytime, but most of the time, Pickens was backside as the X receiver. They were trying to get 2 sets of eyes on him. So you get a cloud corner right here who's going to press and then funnel this receiver to the sideline, and then you kind of get this half-field safety that's working over the top. That's really just one of the ways that you can get a double team on a really good receiver. So really it's going to force the ball elsewhere, right? So we're going to get kind of a mesh concept underneath. So you're going to get Connor Hayward kind of running under or on this little over sit route over the ball. He's going to kind of usually sit around the sticks or where the sticks would be. And then you're going to get a high-low between him and Allen Robinson. And they're going to sneak Najee Harris out into the flat this direction. My problem here is more of a pre-snap issue with Pickett. The Texans are showing this kind of umbrella coverage. So you see the safeties deep. You got middle of the field open coverage. You've got this cornerback right here who is sitting, 10 yards off Calvin Austin. The problem is if you roll the play, Calvin Austin's just got like a little outbreaker, a little Omaha route, and he's wide open. I mean, this is a free access throw. The Texans in this instance are really saying, okay, it's 2nd and 18. If you want to try to get, an 8-yard completion, we're going to live with that because we're still going to force you into 3rd and long. They're just trying to keep stuff in front of them at this point, especially at this point in the game, up 2 scores, right? But really, his eyes should be right here. I I mean, this is wide open. This is an easy pitch and catch, and it's not going to get them into anything crazy, but you're at least going to get yourself into third and manageable, right? Because look at this corner. He has to respect Calvin's speed. He's got the quarter half of the field. I mean, this ball really needs to be on him. And then he tries to make a play kind of out of structure, kind of ends up forcing this throw to Najee Harris, kind of back shoulder, really difficult throw. Honestly, a little bit dangerous with that safety kind of coming up top as well. But it's just kind of like not an example of not making the easy plays and trying to force something and make something out of nothing. All right, so following the incompletion, we're going to get a 3rd and 18 here, 3rd and very long. The Steelers are going to be running what's called a Hank concept. We broke this one down for the channel, so y'all have seen what it is, but I will detail it just a little bit real quick. But a really nice throw from Pickett here to Pickens. Nearly picks up the first down. I know the announcers gave Pickens a hard time about not picking this one up, but overall, what we're getting here is just curl flat on both sides of the field, and then you're going to kind of get this sit route or over the ball route from Allen Robinson in this case, where he's just going to kind of go to the middle of the field and just kind of sit down in between the intermediate level defenders. The way that the Steelers read this out is just kind of a pick a side read. Really, you're just either going to go for matchups or you're going to go for whichever receiver you trust the most in these situations. Hank is a good play call against cover 3 in particular. You see Najee Harris, what he's going to do is kind of expand this second level defender out of that throw-in lane window. Pickett does a good job putting the ball on the money. This is a really accurate throw, good ball location. Ball's right on his helmet, and then Pickens is able to turn upfield for a couple yards after the catch and nearly gets the first down. But it's a nice play call. You get a good chunk kind of back on this one. Put yourself in 4th and manageable. It's a good play. So after the big gain on 3rd down, this sets us up for 4th and manageable. Right here for Kenny Pickett. Going to get a bunch set to the bottom of the screen with Calvin Austin isolated up top. This one has been highly discussed on Twitter. I've already given my thoughts on it. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't like about this play. We'll kind of go through the play call itself, what the Texans are doing on defense, and then we'll kind of get into some of my critiques really all around. So the Steelers have ran this bunch concept to the bottom several different times. And really all this is you're going to get a corner route from the lead guy on the point, which is George Pickens. You're going to kind of get this speed out route from Allen Robinson, and then you're going to get a snag route from Connor Hayward. Really what this does is it's supposed to be giving Kenny Pickett a good read versus like cover 3. When they ran this earlier in the game, this is against a cover 3 coverage. Maybe that's what the Steelers were anticipating in this particular instant, short down and distance. Maybe the Texans wanting to roll a safety down in the box, but that's not what they get. They get cover 2. So Texans are just going to be playing cover 2. You see this cover 2 shell really show up pre-snap too, right? You got the cloud corner. You got a cloud corner. Got the 2 safeties back. Pretty easy to define. All right, so I'll just kind of let this one roll through. You can see Kenny Pickett reading the bunch combination first. And this thing is really pretty well covered, right? Regardless of how you would read this, none of these options are particularly extremely open, right? This cloud corner is underneath Allen Robinson, so that's effectively taken away. We've got the safety one-on-one with George Pickens. I would say that maybe you can lay this ball out to this side of the field, but he does have outside leverage. So, I mean, you're really taking a pretty big gamble right there. So don't have any qualms about passing that one up either. And then you've got kind of Connor Hayward on this snag route. He's going to go up and try to create a little bit of a push-off with this intermediate defender right at the first down marker. So the play call itself with the route concept is not the greatest call for what type of coverage they get. I don't think that there's any denying that, especially on a 4th and 1. If we're going to throw the football, we got to have better answers for cover 2 than this. With that being said, okay, there's a lot of issues that I have with Kenny Pickett right here on this particular play. For one, if you get cover 2, okay, if you have some type of 3-by-1 coverage or anytime you get 3 to the strong side of the field, the middle linebacker is going to open up to the trip side, okay? So you know that going in. Watch the window that this creates in the middle of the field. They're going to get this kind of high-low right here on this underneath defender who's going to be going out to capture Najee Harris leaking into the flat. And then we have a wide open Calvin Austin coming in the middle of the field. This is NFL open, man. You got to lead this ball into the middle of the field, and you got to pick up this first down. And I totally get that it's the fourth read in the progression, and the backside dig is not really what you're aiming for on 4th and 1. But you can't turn your back in the pocket. I don't know what his obsession with this type of pocket movement is. I don't know if it's just one of those things where it's just he's seen a lot of pressure this year, and he's just kind of getting even more erratic or frenetic in the pocket. But this is something that we've talked about dating back to the days at Pitt. Just the tendency to bail out of clean pockets is it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch, especially to just the inability to let plays kind of develop. And you can kind of see it from the end zone angle here. His eyes are going to the bunch formation. And then instead of just calmly resetting his feet, Seumalo, I think people have pointed this out on Twitter. I think he's going up against Malik Collins. Malik Collins loves this inside spin move. So he's going to chop, spin, ice pick. But this is a really good recovery by Seumalo. He ends up pancaking this guy. It's a heck of a recovery. Seumalo is really good in pass protection. This pocket is perfectly fine. If anything, he can probably just slide a little bit to the left and then hitch up. And then we've got this coming open. This defender right here is going to continue to widen with Harris, especially in fourth and 1. But you're never going to be able to see the middle of the field or anybody with your helmet to the other end zone. You just can't. I mean, you can't do that. It's hard to play quarterback like that, man. Actually, it's impossible to play quarterback like that. And you can see, man, like we've got it. If he just slides left, the footwork in the pocket, just slide left and nail this thing. You can throw it at his feet. You can lead him into kind of a diving position to keep him away from the safety or linebacker. This is an easy conversion. And I'm not saying, again, I think the play call's awful. If it was me, you're in 4th and 1. Najee Harris has been your best player on the day. 100%, man. 100%, I would run the football. Or at least give some type of play action fake or, anything like that. That's what I'm doing 100% of the time. I'm running the ball, especially given Pickett struggles on the day. So I don't love the play call, but the pocket navigation skills, this is stuff that he's got to get cleaned up, man. You can excuse some of that stuff. Prospects aren't ever perfect. They got stuff to improve upon when they come out of college. But this stuff, still lingering from his rookie season, and we're not seeing the type of improvement that we're really after here. So it's really frustrating stuff to watch. Like I said, I'm 100% running the football here in this situation. Even if we get an inside zone call, I think that's a better play call than what we get, because if you think about it, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in the box. I mean, you can maybe count this slot guy if you really want to get crazy with it. But we got 2 deep safeties, man. And maybe that speaks to Pickett's inability to audible out of the play call. I don't know how much freedom he has at the line of scrimmage. I'm not in the room. But to me, this ball needs to be a run, inside zone, and you trust your interior offensive lineman to get just enough push to get the 4th and 1 call. And unfortunately, just really frustrating that, this really highlights the Steelers' struggles on offense. Nothing is working, and I'm not really sure, where they're going to go from here. So, but I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Just don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, drop me a comment on what y'all thought of the video, what y'all thought of the game. And hopefully, I have some more positive film to kind of go over next week when they go to face the Ravens. So I'll have plenty of more content out for the rest of this week. I'll try to find some glimmer of hope and positive spin to give to you guys. But definitely a frustrating performance overall. I'll check y'all next time. Peace and love.